Hi Steve. This is our packing and deployment center where we basically bring all the plants, we pack them up, and we ship them out worldwide. As you can see, looking this way, this is our Vanda hanging plant. Basically spike the plants, prepare them for market. On this side we have our tables where we have various different kinds of plants that we also prepare for shipping. These are typical Cattleya plants that we have. For example, this, it's quite big. I don't know if you can see that. The roots, as you can see, we've got nice healthy roots with a new growth. You've got the older roots and you have the root ball inside, which is mixed in with some different kinds of medium. Okay, what we're going to do today is we're going to show you what you have to do in order to have these plants move successfully from Malaysia, Thailand, Taiwan, anywhere in Asia, all the way back to Mexico or the United States. It doesn't really matter, the process is the same. And that basically, it's very simple. We're going to depot this plant and we're going to break it up. We're going to take away the parts that are useless to the plant, that are taking the plant's energy, that really don't serve any purpose. And we're going to cut away all the roots. And the reason we're going to do that is to reduce the shipping cost by the weight and the volume, and allow us to take this plant and pack it in a way that more can fit in the box. I know a lot of people that, especially consumers, are concerned about the fact that you lose the roots from the plant. Well, the truth is whenever you repot a plant, for all of you that have done it before, I'm sure you already know this, the roots will all die. So what happens next is that we cut the roots off and then we stimulate new root growth, which happens quite fast. Okay, so this is a typical plant. I'm going to put it back and we're going to move around to some other places I've prepared for the video. We're going to depot this plant. It's a pretty simple process. We'll pull it out like this, carefully avoiding breaking any of the bulbs. Putting it in a little box here, and we're going to knock off the old medium. In this case, we're using black charcoal. It's quite messy stuff. Every year you need to repot these things. The roots on the Cattleya plant will grow. They'll attach themselves to something, then they'll die, and new roots will come out as new growth nodes are growing. Each pseudo bulb can have up to 3 new pseudo bulbs, and they don't always come at the same time, various different times. What happens is the plant breaks up into several sections, and then after a while, after you clean these things and break the roots free, the old dead ones, they'll naturally come apart. Then you'll end up with divisions like this. And you can see all of the divisions that we make. We cut off almost all the roots. We leave a few in there, the latest, healthiest ones. We always make sure there's new growth eyes that's existing and moving forward. This is a very small one. This is for a nursery to handle, not for consumers. The nodes that go to consumers will have at least 3 pseudo bulbs. They'll be uniform in size, so something like this. It's shaped well with new growth eyes, and the roots will be trimmed off like this. Now this plant was just depotted. It needs to be cleaned, so we'll use a low pressure water and clean these things. Okay. After we break these apart, we'll have parts that are no good, such as this one. Although it's got 2 brand new growth nodes, the shape of the plant isn't good for the consumer market. So we'll use this plant to it'll stay in the nursery, we'll repot it and we'll let it grow on these 2 growth nodes. We'll train them to go straight up, and eventually we'll trim these off. And then maybe 6 months or a year from now, this will have 5 or 6 new bulbs and it'll be ready for market and flowering. The age of these plants is important. This is a nice division. It's ready to flower in 1 node. It's got 2 new growth nodes here growing with the roots, the latest set of roots. I've already trimmed off all the old stuff, the old pseudo bulbs. This is a very nice plant. So after a couple days, it'll be hydrated a little bit. It'll hydrate down before shipping, and it'll be laying out like this, making it a lot easier to ship. Takes a lot less space and a lot less weight, and that's what we need to do. The divisions that will come out will be anything like these that you can see. We're going to keep back these ones and either destroy them or we'll repot them. Come a little closer and you can see what these actually look like before we clean them. You see growth node here and a growth node here. This is a typical bulb that we will ship out to consumers and nurseries. Alright, so the next part of the process after we've made the divisions is to clean them. So we use a little bit of water. We'll clean the roots, get rid of all of the old potting material, anything left over, insects, anything that could potentially cause a rejection by the USDA during the import process. They don't like to see soil or old medium. So we carefully clean them. And again, remove any waste material. Go over here a little closer, you can see what the plants look like. See how clean they are, they'll dry. Now, the next step that we have is we're going to treat the plants with a fungicide, with plant food, and then we're going to let the plants dry on their own. Plants, after they've been washed, treated with chemicals and plant food, we put them on racks like this. We have fans. Fans are running usually 24 hours to dry the plants out completely, to make sure we avoid any excess water or problems that could come during the shipping process while they're packed in the box for anywhere from 3 to 5 days in some cases. Then we take the plants and it's time for a quality check. Depending on the customer and the requirements, we pack them custom. Okay. In this particular case, we're looking at a nursery shipment. So we would take this plant and this plant. We would take this plant, and these would be rejected, even though they're perfectly good plants. If you come a little closer, you'll see why. This plant has several new growth nodes. It's shaped properly, so it'll fit nice into a 4-inch pot when it's repotted. It's the same with this one. The leaves are in good shape, and it looks nice. And they're good color and healthy, no damages. Okay, this has a new growth node here, and it's basically ready to go and be packed. Now we've processed the plants. They've been shipped halfway around the world, and they've been received by you. Okay, here you have these divisions sitting here. They look dry, and they are dry because they've been in a box. They need to be rehydrated. So the first thing you should do is take the plants, put a very small amount of plant food in there with some vitamin B1, add it to the water, and just put the divisions in there and let them soak. Some of the divisions will start new roots in the box on the way to you. That's not too likely, a small percentage. The new roots that are going to come are roots that you're going to stimulate with the dipping process and the next steps I'm about to show you. What's good about what we're doing here is that we've taken the plant completely out of its old potting medium, eliminated all of the things that kept it from growing before, and now we're going to let the air and water make new roots. The process is quite simple. We take a pot, normally this size, sometimes a little bit smaller depending on what size your market is that you need, and we put a brick in there, a broken piece of pottery or something that's heavy enough to keep the pot in place so it doesn't blow over in the wind. And we just simply take the division, we stick it in there, and we use the brick to kind of hold it in place. So once the division's in, and we do this very carefully to make sure that we don't disrupt the new growth nodes, because we want to take advantage of those. So that means, 3 or 4 months from now, this will be a new flower, full-size adult plant. Now, we're not putting any potting medium in these plants, and there's a good reason for it. What's important right now to the plant is that it receives moisture when you water it, and that it has air circulation around it. The air and the water mixed together will create new roots. The process takes about 2 to 3 weeks before you start to see anything. Now we're going to speed this process up. I just potted 2 of these to show you how. Now I'm going to show you what happens after a few days, or a few weeks. These plants were from 2 weeks ago, and we did the same process where we stuck them in the pot. Here, come take a closer look. All right, same as I explained. What the difference is, you see the new root growth? This plant even has a new extended growth, new bulb. Okay, you can take a look at some of these. Same thing. Another small division, a whole bunch of new root growth, and there's a new bulb starting to grow. And yeah, it's not even in the medium yet. Another. This is basically waste material, stuff we would normally have thrown away, but decided to, you know, for the purposes of this video, to show you what a plant will do. Look how ugly this is. I mean, there's nothing here, there isn't even a leaf. But we have new root growth, and sure enough, there's a new suero bulb beginning to form here. And that will make a new plant. As long as it's cared for, you'll create one, and that one will create 3 more. And then you end up with roots like this. So you can go through here and see, no matter which kind of Cattleya plant it is, you've got new root growth forming. This is about 2 weeks old. With these new roots comes new bulbs. So after you see roots and new growth like this, it's time to pot the plant up. Alright? And what we do, we use coconut husk. Alright, and here's a few. Here's as an example. Alright, these are about, this is 8 weeks old now. We put coconut husk in here about 4 or 5 weeks ago. So I pull it back out gently. You can see that it is full of roots under the whole plant. You have new root nodes growing here, here, and probably several more you can't even see. There. So this plant has been successfully repotted, and in this case it was just a scrap. It's not even a quality plant. This was what's left over after we took the good nodes out and shipped it to a nursery. So this is money. It's going to turn into cash, because in about, I give this one 3 or 4 months, there's going to be 5 or 6 new nodes. We'll be able to divide it again, remove these old ones, and the new ones will be 2 separate new plants. I'll show you a couple more examples. This also is about the same age, another division. Notice the new growth. Notice the roots, new growth here. On this plant was basically, you know, done already. It was a lot longer. We had cut it off, and what you see a cut here and a cut here. So this is in the middle, and yet we've established 1, 2. Looks like a 3rd one here. New suero bulbs coming off with all brand new roots on the old growths. The old growths, yes, they can take 3 suero bulbs per growth. Sometimes the first one will come, they'll come one at a time. Sometimes they'll come 2 at a time. Very rarely 3 at a time. The 3rd one usually comes later on in a 2nd growth spurt of the plant. I'll show you a few more. Okay, look at the roots on this plant. And look at this new node. This will be a flower in about 2 months. And this has grown since we've put it in here. Alright, you've got all this new root growth, all created by the process that I just showed you. It's like this one with several pieces of scrap of the same plant. Yet look at the size of the roots we've created. We got new nodes growing here, 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 all over the place. So we'll probably be able to make this into 3 or 4 plants. In 3 or 4 months from now, we'll be ready for market with flowers. So anyway, the point of this exercise was to show you that roots are not the most important thing about a Cattleya. Having a healthy node is very important, so that when you get the plant and you get the division, that it looks good, it has no defects on it, and then you stimulate the new roots and you have a great plant.